All right, guys, how's everyone doing? This is Paul Singh, bullsonwallstreet.com. Today, we're going to talk about buying pullbacks, and the reason we're going to do that is this has been a fantastic market for that, especially the last few months. We've had these deep pullbacks, and the market is definitely getting shakier. We could see some weakness later on, but for now, every pullback has been a buying opportunity. And it's been tough to do because of the news events that have been going on, because of the extent of these pullbacks. But these actually end up being the best times to enter. You can get some of your best gains during these periods. The key is you have to get over the fear of entering these things. As Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that same goes for us as traders. We come up with these great plans, but oftentimes we don't follow through. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the continuation pullback setup. Having this setup in place makes it easier for us to actually place the trade. And we're going to use a recent winning trade. That was the BABA trade, a China stock, as one of our examples here. So I've got the chart up here. Let's take a look at it. You can see overall, it's been in a fantastic trend through all of 2017. And every pullback, while being a little scary, has been a really good buying opportunity. If you bought the pullback here, we saw a run from 144, 133, all the way up to 147 at the top of the range. And you could play it even further. This scary pullback here was another buying opportunity. And then when we took, I think we took one of these back here as well, but the recent one we took was right here. So let's key in on that one. So I'm going to dig in a little closer here, and we can see we had a huge run here from 146 to about 175, and then a pretty shaky pullback. 4 days in a row, big gaps down, and then broke through the 9. And on a nice trending stock, we want to see that 9 level hold. So that's part of the continuation pullback. We're not just entering on the pullback, and that's the scary part. When you just blindly say, okay, it's pulling back and I'm going to buy, how do you know how far that thing is going to go? For example, you could say, well, it was pulling back right here, let me buy right here, and obviously it went further. And that's where the fear usually comes in, not knowing where that high probability entry is. And this setup allows us to get rid of some of that fear and give us some of the higher probabilities. So what we're looking for is not only the pullback, but then a show of strength at key technical levels. And on these trending stocks, oftentimes it's a 9 EMA. So I love it when one of these stocks actually break through the 9, everyone gets scared, and then it remounts that level and shows that it can hold that level. And that's what we did here with BABA. Now it did remount the first time here. I still wasn't quite convinced. Sometimes, they do that quick remount and then fail. So I wanted to see some proof that this thing was going to follow through. So you can see here, remounted the 9, consolidated here, and then broke out here on September 11th. And that was our entry level right in here when we got that real show of strength. So we're looking at the price action. I also like to see the volume pattern. Is that accumulation phase continuing, or is the stock starting to show distribution or selling volume? And here, even though we had that big dip, there was really no concern about the volume pattern. We had this big volume on the up move, less volume on the down move, although there was maybe a little bit of an uptick, but nothing serious. And then as we started to come back here, we saw a push in volume again. So that's exactly what we wanted to see. So we entered here on the 11th. We got the volume pattern, we got the price action, we got technical patterns holding, and the final thing is the sector. So we're treating the country as a sector, basically. China was basically doing the same thing, showing a lot of strength. So we know we had the fact that people were buying up China in our favor. So we go back to BABA, we've got all these things in our favor. It has become a high probability trade, even though we've had this scary dip. So nothing really to fear here. So we enter, we've got our entry trigger. Stop was around the gap fill, which corresponded with under the 9. So if it breaks the 9 here, it's probably going to fail. we get stopped with a small loss. Target was the top of the range, and we got there pretty quick. We only had to hold for 2 days, and I would have been fine holding this for a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But we got this thing in 2 days, hit the top of the range, and we were out really quickly. Now it has pulled back again. This time I'm a little more concerned because of the change in character in the volume pattern. You see this big uptick in volume. So we're watching closely now. If it starts to show some strength, maybe we could get in at the 9. Maybe we wait for a high break because of this change in character. So you can see the different ways we assess these things. So that is the continuation pullback. Put this setup in your repertoire, especially when you have a trending sector or market, and these deep pullbacks tend to hold. All right, guys. Remember, you can join the Swing Trade Report where I go over my daily analysis. We send out trade alerts. We look at the focus list stocks we're trading. Obviously, everyone was notified of this trade. And I'll put another one of these blog posts out in a few days or maybe early next week.